Okay, hi, I'm Jarmo Eskelinen from the Future Cities Catapult, Chief Innovation and Technology Officer. Basically what I'm going to be doing is to give you a snapshot about the state of affairs regarding MyData and cities in the UK, and I can already give you a spoiler, which is there isn't much to tell. But what there is to tell, I will tell. So that's the starting point is low. Anyway, we are the UK Innovation Centre for urban solutions, and what we try to do is to tackle the challenge that the market for innovative solutions in cities is fragmented. So it's bad business to do digital in cities, which is why solutions tend to be very expensive for cities and they suck mostly. And we should be able to build a more harmonized marketplace without locking cities in endless technology and vendor lock-ins. And I think sort of different open approaches, open data, open source, open standards, modular systems are the way to do it. And I think the MyData is part of this bigger realm of interoperability challenge in cities. Fragmented marketplace. And how we work in this space is, it's a basic kind of service design model, discover challenges, try to find what cities actually do want to do, using different ways from user research to desktop research, and then to work through engagement, both citizens of the people and the people, civil servants of the cities as users, and then finally do things in practice. So we do lots of hands-on demonstration. And there's lots of good work which has been done around data in UK cities. It can be said that open data movement largely started in the UK in the late noughties, 2008, 2009. And cities like London with the London Data Store were at that time pioneers. But it can be also said that it has largely stalled for a couple of years lately, because of mostly change of politics and because of the pretty top-down system of UK governance. The cities have very limited powers to do what they would like to be doing, which is different, for example, to this country or many other Scandinavian countries where cities have lots of power to implement solutions as they like, which also creates different problems, but at least they are different problems. This is an example. London, the work we did with London Data Store, in which we basically created a real-time kind of future prediction machine. You could play to be a mayor and make decisions about individual systems, and then it gave you the prognosis of actually how would your city look like in 5 years, 10 years time, using real data from real London sources, and so the proven value of data science. We have also been working with cities to sort of bring more data available. This is a project called Tech Totem, which is basically an urban testing station. And it's thought, the plan of the Tech Totem is that it's a fleet. Totems can be owned by different stakeholders in cities. There's a new fleet coming to Newcastle soon, and they use an open data interface. So all the totems which different stakeholders install, they then push data into joint data layer from which then different diagnosis data analytics can be made. So idea here is that yes, implementations are local, but actually data layer is universal. And the trick, of course, also is to make them nice, so it's a parklet-based solution. So you take one parking space and turn it into an urban testing station, which is solar powered.
And what does it do, the totem?
You can switch different components in it. I mean, in this particular one was around with Atkins around air quality, so we had air quality sensors in it, but it's sort of a plug and play thing. You can quite easily install new tech in it. And one more example, which is a Tombolo digital connector in the same domain of data interoperability. We work with a company called Space Syntax to build sort of a data recipes which would be universal and sort of connect the city space of UK. The idea of Tombolo was to try check if we can sort of build different aspects of urban data into recipes. So we have legal, operational, skill, resources, technologies, and we try to turn these all things like legal constraints, let's say planning, regulation, into algorithmic format, which would make it possible then to do queries which combine technological interfaces with interfaces which normally are not seen as technological. I mean, law as an algorithm, probably a feature which is kind of known for you. That's something we are trying to do here, especially in the urban planning, spatial planning domain, because planning rules are actually quite algorithmic. I mean, one more floor, yes, no. Pitch roof, yes, no. It's basically digital. And what we are trying to do is to turn it into digital. That you could get sort of a push button planning decisions out of the system. We are pretty far from it at the moment, but at least we are trying with the space syntax, and it seems to be working pretty well. Then there's active development in the space of people working with cities. I would point your interest towards the frictionless state of data project of Open Knowledge International, which Rufus Pollock's latest initiative, which basically works around sort of package structures of data. How do you make the flow of data as seamless as possible? Very directed initiative to sort of fix the package problem of data. And we have good companies in the UK like FutureGov, which is already 10 years old, using service design combined with digital skills to make better public services. So kind of we have the skills there, but it's an archipelago of stuff. And where things become problematic, and I will point a finger now, sorry about it, in advance if there's somebody from the Ministry of Housing or Local Government here, I will point a finger at you, because the collaboration attempts have been pretty lame until now. This is the newest one, it's a local digital declaration, which actually tries to solve this challenge of incompatibility across UK cities. So every city is doing what they want, and there's kind of collaboration is voluntary, and there are no standards which would build the compatible landscape. And this tries to fix it. I think where it becomes a problem is that it's backed by £7.5 million. And if you sort of compare that to the size of the United Kingdom, you could maybe say that it isn't massive. 7.5 million to fix the interoperability problem of the country. I mean, our annual budget from the government is about the same, and we are just one research center. So I think there's a bit of a challenge between that resource and the minister who said that it's an ambitious project which outlines our commitment to help those who work in the sector. So it's a good start, but it definitely will not do it. And I think the question is, how do we combine that with some other things which are happening in the city space, and how do we sort of support the place-based decision making? Oh, that was in 2 rows when I put it there, now it's in 1, and that's from Jamie Lerner, and he says place-based decisions are best made where the place is. Which is quite common sense if you think about it, but it's surprisingly rare when it comes for the kind of a collaboration between local and central governments in many countries, including the UK. And it's not only that the central government is a problem, also cities are a problem, because they think that central government knows nothing and they know better, and then they end up doing things alone. And there are leaders like Bristol, whether Bristol is open, and then there are new initiatives, and I think one of the most promising tools which is now coming to the UK city landscape is so-called city deals. So United Kingdom is giving money to the regions. They are giving money to the cities, and they are giving them in quite sizable chunks. The first one was in Manchester, that was £6 billion to basically deliver the same stuff which used to be done by central government, but to be delivered by the local government. And that's serious money, then you can start to do things. And the latest ones in which we are involved is the Belfast City deal. At the moment we are working with Belfast to write it. That's several billion a year as well. So it's pretty serious. And then already signed a deal from up north, which is the Edinburgh City deal, which was finally signed about 2 weeks back. And what's interesting about the Edinburgh deal is that, first of all, it's again sizable money, we're talking about billions, and the university is involved in this with a program called Data-Driven Innovation. And that program is hundreds of millions. And then we can do things on the scale which we need, because it is about resources. We can pilot the hell out of it, but if there's no resources to scale or do it properly, things won't fly. So I would follow the Edinburgh City deal and then how that develops. But of course, all of these deals still don't solve this fundamental challenge which I started with, that the market is fragmented. And I think what we should be doing is a couple of things. First of all, with the exception of the Scottish Smart Cities network, the UK cities have been notoriously bad of doing anything practical and pragmatic together. And we should just fix that and network the cities. And I think these deals might give a tool for that. And we should network those cities with the cities from Europe. As in many countries, it's easier for any city in the UK to collaborate with any city from elsewhere than with a neighbor. And I think we could build on that. Cities definitely do want to be in Europe. I mean, don't believe the hype. And they do want to collaborate with their peers. And they are very eager to bypass the governmental channels to make it happen. Things like Open and Agile Smart Cities Network, different European initiatives. I think we should link those city deals with these initiatives and with the MyData move. I think we should focus on both the kind of bottom-up digital skills and competence development in cities, understanding what it means to do things in an interoperable way, but then also on a sort of a top-down layers of standards, both technical and regulatory standardization. Because standards tend to be detached from the reality, and reality tends to be detached from the standards, and I think we should make these two things meet in the realm of cities. And I think we have a case of making that happen in cities, which is more believable than trying to make it happen on a national level. Because cities need to deliver stuff. There's always kind of a delivery pressure, which the cities have, which other parts of governments necessarily don't have. So cities sort of feel the problems on their skin, and I think we should play that to the benefit of this domain.
Thank you.